Just give us an idea of what you get out of a show like this with regard to your business.
Well, for me, a lot of coming to conferences is around meeting potential contacts. That's both other HR directors in the field to share best practice, to get an idea of what other people are doing. But at the same time, it's also an opportunity to network and potentially meet new suppliers. From time to time, we're looking for different partnerships, and it's a great opportunity to come see who's exhibiting, have the opportunity to talk with them in detail, and then potentially set up a meeting down the line.
And what do you say to people that in these current tough times who may have other things on their mind and don't attend shows like this?
I think, especially in this market, it's a good opportunity to get out of the office, take a step away, and kind of recharge your batteries a little bit. And oftentimes things don't appear as bad as they seem once you step out into the light of the real world.
Sure.
And see, gosh, other people have similar situations. And again, maybe that's an opportunity to network with some people, share some best practice, get some ideas about a situation that you may be facing, that someone that you're sitting next to at a session is having the same problem, and you might get some great ideas.
Sure. With a worldwide business such as yours, you're managing from an HR perspective remotely in many respects. How difficult is that to maintain standards and quality when people are concerned about their jobs and concerned about the recession, etc.?
Right. I think from our perspective, from an enterprise perspective, it really helps that we have very, very strong values, because I think those guiding founding values and principles really serve to direct managers, to direct our leaders into keeping people focused. People know what they need to do, they've got a job at hand, and taking care of our customer is the most important thing. So I think from our perspective, it really helps to have those strong founding values to rely on and to keep people focused on what they need to get done.
How important do you think is brand with regard, not only from a consumer point of view, but from an employee point of view, in sort of promoting those values?
Very important, and I think especially in the climate that we're in today, with companies making decisions about jobs, perhaps doing some restructuring, and in some cases having to do some redundancies, I think how companies treat their people today will come back to them, whether it's in 6 months or a year or 2 years down the line. And that's why I think it's more important than ever to treat your people with the utmost respect. It may not be the message that they want to hear, but they still need to be treated. And it's really kind of looking at it, how would I want to have this happen if it were me, and really make sure that people are behaving in that manner.
How important do you believe it is to continue to develop your people in order that they stay involved and engaged and loyal to the brand or loyal to the company?
Very important, and for us in particular at Enterprise, we promote strictly from within. So everyone comes to us in our management training program and then moves their way on up from there. Some choose to stay in operations, but I was in operations and moved into human resources, and people can move around within the company. But since we do promote strictly from within, the development piece is absolutely critical, because if we get people who aren't challenged, who don't see the next step, who don't feel that they've got their eye on the next opportunity, they do become complacent. They don't see the next opportunity. They may not be taking care of the customer as we would like, or taking care of their colleagues as we would like. So really the continuous training. And I think especially in this job market, again, there are ways to continue to do that without investing a lot of money. I think there's ways to keep people engaged, keep them focused on the business without having to throw a lot of money at it.
Do you think it's very important to have employees, especially in a global market such as yours, who understand how the business leaders think? Do you think it's important that there's some transparency and some clear lines there? And
Definitely.
How do you promote that?
Definitely, and I think at Enterprise we've been very, very fortunate through this, and our business has remained very constant. A lot of that has to do with the type of business that we're in, but throughout it, our CEO, our chairman, has been communicating very regularly with employees, having town hall meetings, communicating through email and through other channels for those employees who are outside of his office. But I think that is so important, because once the lines of communication are down, people start making assumptions. And oftentimes they are the wrong assumptions, but I don't think you can over-communicate in this economic time.
As in all sectors, everybody is under the cosh, and the recession looks like it's going to be a long one.
Sure.
How do you maintain the focus in terms of company development, moving the company forward, when people are just worried about the day-to-day issues?
Right. I think really keeping people focused on the strategy of the company long term, which in our case at Enterprise is continuing to grow our branch network, both here in the UK, but in each of the 5 countries where we operate. So keeping people focused on taking care of our customers, taking care of our employees, and our branch network continues to grow. It has continuously over the past 52 years. So I think, again, keeping them focused on the day-to-day issues, which then leads to the strategic issues.
With regard to attracting people to your company, how do you sort of promote that with regard to graduates, etc.?
We do quite a bit. We are very, very visible out on university campuses, and we go to all campuses across the UK. We don't have a select few that we go to. We hit all of them. So we're very visible there, on campus, in classrooms, involved with lectures, involved with clubs and organizations on campus, involved in a variety of different ways. So that's really, really important from a marketing standpoint, and just imprinting that brand impression on potential applicants. But we are also now into the schools and university through the Times Education Series and through a number of other community-related projects where we are getting to students that are, maybe 13, 14, and even younger, getting in front of them, not necessarily talking about Enterprise as a company where they may like to work, but getting involved in their classroom, getting involved in the projects that they're doing at school, and really supporting the educators. And in that way, too, we also have an opportunity to touch the parents, which often have the opportunity to influence their children about where they're not only going to university, but potentially what careers they may choose down the line.
What sort of tactics do you use for talent management for employees that look like they can develop a long way in the company?
We have a very robust mentoring program, and that really starts from day one. So we are on the onset really identifying who are those high flyers. Our graduate program is designed to be completed in about 9 to 12 months, but people can finish it in 6 months. It may take the next person 15. So it's really up to the individual and their own personal development. However, at the same time, we're also focused on people who are struggling because oftentimes we've had people who maybe take a little bit longer to get through the management training program and become an assistant manager, but they may beat the colleague who only took 6 months to become an assistant manager to branch manager. So people develop at different times throughout their career. There's a lot of external things that may be going on in their personal life. So at the same time developing and really focusing on high flyers, but continuing to bring everybody along since we do promote from within.
What are the key points that you share with your HR colleagues with regards to maintaining motivation in the workforce and making sure that people remain sort of fixed and focused on what they do? What are the key sort of tactics?
I think the key things is the line manager leadership. I mean, that ultimately, that's why people come to work every day and stay engaged. It's that relationship that they have with their line manager, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a personal friendship outside of work. It can be, and it oftentimes develops into that. But it's really the line manager driving that behavior, ensuring that they're getting the best out of their people, managing each of their employees differently because everybody is motivated by different things. Everyone has different developmental needs, but I think ultimately it comes down to that relationship with the line manager. And so from a company perspective, we spend an incredible amount of time with line managers developing their skills, talking a lot about coaching and training and development and teaching people how to manage people, but to manage each of them differently based on their needs.
Yeah. In terms of the business in general, do you think the HR platform continues to grow in importance, and is it truly aligned with business now?
Yeah, very much so. I think from an enterprise perspective, all of our HR people have been in operations, and I think that helps a tremendous amount because from an HR perspective, we understand what the challenges are in operations, and we're involved in a lot of the decisions that operation takes. So therefore, there's a real respect from operations to HR and HR to operations. But I think that is really, really important, and I think with enterprise HR is becoming much more valued and much more involved in the key decisions that the company takes on a daily basis.
Very good. Thank you, Donna Miller. Thank you very much.
Thank you.